This is Richard with the Hunter-Gatherer Society, back out in the woods with my ever-faithful companion Dozer. And it's a Tuesday afternoon. We spent most of the morning doing some work on the patio garden and just doing some work around the house, and back to work tomorrow. But I did want to get out into the woods and do a little bit of foraging. It's still the dry season here, so today's target is just some Smilex. I wanted to explore a trail that I've hiked several times. It's a popular fishing area, so that means unfortunately we're going to have some work to do before we're done. We're going to have to spend a little time picking it up because it's pretty messy around the fishing area. But that's all right. We brought a bag and we'll get rid of some of that. But I'm going to reverse. You know, they say you should do the work first, play second. I'm going to play first, and we'll work after that. So we're going to explore this new trail or this trail and see what type of things are growing this time of year on it. And I can already see some Smilex, so time to get a forage bag out of the backpack and get to foraging. See you in a few minutes. Greenbrier. So far that's what I'm finding is a lot of Greenbrier, which is good. Oops, sorry about the camera wobblies there. Greenbrier is of the same family. So remember, we've got our two little tassels coming out, and you can tell the leaves are on opposite sides, every other one. They've got the two little tassels on them, and if I can get one to, let's get a bigger leaf here. And the veins start at the base of the leaf and go all the way up. So that's in the right family. And again, you can eat the leaves. We're after primarily the tips. Now with the Greenbrier, be careful with your feet. Make sure you pay attention to where you're walking, because a lot of the Greenbrier have thorns, and I'll show you the vines here. If you can see that, oh yeah, they have thorns on them. They will gladly put up a fight and protect their little their little treats. Ooh, there's a big one up in there. I'm going to shut the camera off, pick a few of these, we'll get back on the trail. Another gorgeous day out here today, guys. It's about 79 degrees today, so it's a little bit warmer. But it's sunny, it's beautiful, there's no humidity. I just could not spend the whole day in the house, so I had to get out here and do a little bit of foraging. I've got plenty of tea after our last forage out. Remember, check each vine. Make sure you've got the right leaves, which we do. Don't take them all. Remember, selective harvesting. I want to make sure it keeps growing so we can come back here and get a few more. Now on this trail, again, I've hiked this a few times. I've actually fished back in here. We're actually following, I can't really see it from here, but on my left side, we're actually following the Imperial River. We're kind of at the narrower end of it. Kind of basically disappears into nothingness. And so we're following along that river. And it's a nice hike in here. I haven't found really much for like mushrooms back in here yet. I'm always optimistic that one of these days I'll come out at the right time and find some wonderful mushrooms. So far I have not. I always find Smilex along this trail. And that's really the primary forage. It seems to be very, very abundant. Again, always checking our leaves. There's the 2 tassels. There's the leaf with the vein starting at the base, running all the way up. Now, some of you that watch my videos and see me harvesting this are probably sick of me pointing that out. You know, but I'm always meeting new people that have never harvested this, that want to learn about it. So I'm going to continue just to point that out. The other reason is when I see them, I'll point them out. There is a vine that grows amongst the Smilex, and I've pointed out before, I've showed the little red berries and talked about how poisonous they are. And the last video when I saw them, I couldn't remember the name. They're actually called Rosary Peas, and they are very, very, there they are right here. So you can see here, that is in the family of Greenbrier. We've got some grapes, muscadine grapes, growing in here. Let's see what else we've got. I think this is, so right there. So now, here is a vine. It's got alternating leaves. It's got the little tassels on it. So that is a Greenbrier. And then amongst it is a vine that has these little berries on it. That is the Rosary Pea. And that is extremely poisonous. So you just want to be really careful. And like I said, once you understand the alternating leaves, the veins going all the way up, the tassels on them, then you're good and safe. But as I've talked about before, you want to stop for a second when you're picking these and make sure that each vine that you're picking on has the right features, because it would be very easy just to grab into a bunch and come out with the wrong one. So just take a second, don't be in a hurry. I mean, a good part of being out here is really just enjoying the outdoors. So no sense being in a hurry then. So we're gonna get back on the trail. Looks like we've got a little more harvesting to do. Guys, check this out. That's kind of neat. It's all over in here. You guys can correct me. Those are the plant experts, because of course I'm not. I believe that is snake plant. Now you can buy those in the store and in the nurseries as a house plant. I did a little research a while back on them, and apparently they are an extraordinary air purifying plant. So that's why they're popular as a house plant. But they're all over along here. And again, I believe they're snake plant. Kind of interesting. All right, guys. I talked a little bit ago about the Rosary Pea and how poisonous that was and how you had to be so careful. Now that my cautionary tale is done, I wanted to stop for a minute. I'm going to harvest this big guy up here. He's ooh, yeah. Well, that's a nice one. So I did my due diligence and gave you caution, but now I want to show you that there's absolutely no way you can mistake this vine. So this is the Rosary Pea. Okay, super deadly. And we look at the vine. Here's our leaves. Looks nothing like the Greenbrier. Oops, sorry about that. Let's get it back in focus here. So that is the leaves of the Rosary Pea. So follow the vine, find the leaves. Looks nothing at all like what we're after. So once you slow down and are able to look at the vine, you can very quickly identify, you know what, this isn't anything I have to worry, I don't have to worry about, or, oh, hey, this is connected to that vine. I'm going to leave that alone. So I just wanted to point that out because, you know, anytime we do these videos, whether it's mushrooms or edible plants, you know, of course, anyone saying this stuff has got to be super cautious because someone goes out and eats the wrong thing, and then there's trouble. But, you know, the reality of it is, you know, if you pay attention to what you're doing, like I said, take your time, enjoy the day. You can harvest these things very, very safely with, you know, no worry about getting the wrong thing because, again, there's a very clear characteristics that help show them or define them. So just keep that in mind, and you'll be absolutely fine. Here's a whole, this is all Rosary Pea up here. You can see him in there, but there's some interesting flowers in here too. I'm gonna zoom in here if we can. There's a couple over there as well. Very pretty. And of course, as always, we have our token airplane, the ever-present airplane. But you can see here, this is all Rosary Pea up in here. Mixed in is the muscadine grapes. Looks like that's about it. Looks like it's pretty much Rosary Pea and muscadine. Beautiful flowers though. All right, on we go. Dozer got his swim in before we came out, before we hit the trail. He likes this trail because we start at the river and he's able to take a little swim and then he can dry off while we hike. Works out good. What'd you hear, bud? Look at this, guys. Boy, he is a big one. Now this cactus, you can see the color difference here. And you can see down below you've got the ones that are dying. Down farther in you've got the ones that are actually dead, they're gray. Then you've got the older ones here. And then these are the new ones, they're light and green. See, there's a bunch of these that are that light green color. Now those pads are edible. It's preferred cooked. I think it can upset your stomach if you don't cook it. You want to be careful because, you know, like any cactus, that thing's got little hairs on there that'll make your day a little uncomfortable. However, you can take those pads off of there, and you can slice those up and cook them. Now I don't really have the means of harvesting them today, anything to put them in, or I don't have gloves or anything, so I think we're going to leave those be today. Just get back to our Smilex hunt. Sorry, I was distracted. A couple of butterflies. These are like some kind of a striped, yellow striped. They look like about the size of a monarch. They're beautiful. Tiger butterflies or something. Don't quote me on that, but possible. I remember that from somewhere. We are following the river here. Dozer, of course, knows it. Say, Daddy, please. Ducks. Doze, where'd you go? What are you doing? Don't go in the water without me. There be gators in there. Alright, you want to go in there? Hold on, let's make sure there's no gators. Take a look-see. Alright, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Ooh, that's nice. That feels good. Happy dog. Please don't shake on Dad. Alright, oh, of course. We're going to take a little fiver here and we'll get back on the trail. I know Daddy's always stopping for stuff, isn't he? Man, it smells like Melaleuca. I wish I could record smell, guys. So this little area that I'm in, you can see these trees here. They don't look like they have any bark. But up top you can see those are very much alive. Those are Melaleuca trees. And this whole area smells like Melaleuca. It's so strong. So another thing that I'm doing today, you guys, so this is Greenbrier here, fatter leaves. So I've seen a few different species here, but I've got the fat leaves, I've got the two little tassels. The leaves are on alternating sides of the vine. Again, so I've got my three characteristics that I'm looking for. A lot of this that I'm finding is very, very young. So I talked about you can take these tips, which of course that's what people are looking for. But the other thing you can do, any of this new growth leaf, you can take that as well. So on these very young vines, like this one's a great one. It's very young, a lot of small leaves. Just gonna pull along that and pull a few of those leaves just off the very end. Now this plant is very prolific. So, you know, there's a bunch of little shoots in here. I won't take all of the small ones, but I'm telling you, this, you're not hurting this plant at all. It's going to grow right back, and it's going to keep going. It grows like crazy. But I haven't been very far into this trail yet. As you can see, I've got a nice little supply of these. I'm going to harvest a few more here, and then we'll get back on the trail. What are you doing over there? Don't be chasing the locals. Here's a good example of something I was talking about earlier, guys. See, this end has been snipped. There's a new growth there. This end has been snipped, but there's a new growth there, new growth there, new growth there. So there's new growth all over this plant, even though some of the ends have been snipped. So, I mean, you always want to do selective harvesting and not take everything. Let the plant grow and mature. At the same time, plants like this, they're pretty aggressive. So, you know, again, I know sometimes people are concerned, are they damaging it? On this one, you know, you're not really damaging it. So, just as long as you leave some to keep growing, you'll be fine. Right, bud? All right, we got to get to picking. As you can see, that's what's left of the Imperial River. Seeing a lot of gar in there, but it gets down to about nothing here. What we're looking for. better view of that river. Not much left of it there. All right, back to harvesting, guys. Looks like a road less traveled here. I've actually been down that trail. That just dead ends, so we're not going to go do that today because I want to keep moving along this trail here. We're going to stay focused on the Greenbrier today, where it's probably headed on, I don't know, 4 o'clock. In fact, it might be heading towards 5, so we don't have a whole lot of time today. This is a short, probably couple-mile walk. But we'll keep moving here, and if I find anything interesting, I'll bring you back. Not sure if the camera's picking that up or not. Would hate to walk into that face first. Sucker's huge. Big old spider web. Alright, on we go. What, you got a stick? No, it's not stick time. Ooh, that sun is getting warm. No humidity, but that sun is cooking out here. Not a lot of shade here. Getting around the lake, so he's getting excited. So this trail is another trail that I discovered just simply by, you know, I was fishing one day or checking out a fishing hole. I don't think I even did any fishing, but just checking out a local fishing spot, and I saw this trail kind of running you know, off from it, and I didn't really see any traffic on it, and so I thought, you know, I want to see where this goes. Oh, there's a gator swimming out there. Oh, he just sunk down. And so I came back in here, and this looks to be an old development, or I'm sorry, not an old development. It looks like something that is probably slotted for development. I've been here almost 2 years, and this is how it sits. I've never seen anybody back in here working. Occasionally I'll see somebody back in here fishing these little ponds. There's actually 2 little ponds back here. There are fish in here. There's some nice bass in here. There is sunfish in here, and I know there are tilapia in here as well. So I have caught fish in here, but it's a beautiful little area. It's super quiet in here. And again, I just discovered this. I said, I wonder where that trail went. There was no trespassing signs on it. There's a little opening here in the rocks. Now this is wet currently. Looks like I can hop across that. But there's a trail back there. Now that goes into the crew trails. I think combination crew, land, and water management. That's a nice Lemon Bocaba spot there. I might actually try to get in there before we leave. But that goes back in. It'll open up into some pretty open Melaleuca areas, which get pretty hot, and they're fairly barren when it comes to foraging. So our focus today is we're just going to kind of hike up along here, and there is actually some pretty good Smilex foraging back in that trail. So actually we might go back in there, because you got maybe a quarter mile or a little more before it, you know, opens up. And in that little section there's pretty good Smilex foraging. So yeah, maybe we'll try to jump that little creek and get back in there. This will just wind around behind the lakes, and eventually it'll just dead end. Now there's not a lot of foraging beyond this, so as I'm talking, I'm thinking maybe I'm going to spin around and we'll see if we can hop that little creek and go back in there. The one thing that is good along here is the Coco plums. Now they're not here now, but if you look on the left side here, all along here you can see Coco plum trees. And at the right time of year, these will just be loaded. And actually, you can see they're starting to form up some little buds right now. But this whole trail all along here is Coco plum trees, and they at the right time of year you can do pretty well back in here collecting some of those. Get over here now. Along this edge here, this is pine, and there's some palms in here. Kind of some mixed different trees in here. I have found mushrooms after a good rain along here, along this edge. Yeah, go ahead. You want to go swim? Alright, well, maybe you're wise enough not to. So that's the lake. There's a real small one back behind it, and another good fishing one. But that's it. I'm going to spin around, and I think I'm going to try to get across that creek and check out that other trail. I'll bring you back in a few. How muddy is that? But ooh, that looks pretty muddy. I don't know if I want to try that. That's pretty muddy. Well, not too bad. Hey, that's cheating, mister. I wonder if we can even get through the other side. Oh. Well, maybe. Oh no, that sounds pretty wet. That sounded pretty wet. Oh yeah. This is, well, I wonder if we can get around the side here. Ooh, I can smell Lemon Bocaba here. We'll be harvesting some of that. Ooh, that was squishy, but I think we did okay. Yeah, there's Lemon Bocaba all along here, guys. There's our Lemon Bocaba. We'll harvest that on the way out. Meanwhile, we're heading up in there. Oh yeah, that's a nice one. There's one there. There, and all along here and on the other side too. So I'm going to turn this camera off, do a little harvesting, then we'll get back on this trail. The one thing about this trail, guys, is you can definitely hear the traffic here. This is very, very close to town, and it's close to a main road. It's, like I said, getting probably around 5 o'clock, so that road is pretty busy this time of day. So you can hear the traffic, but it is absolutely beautiful back in here. So, you know, just tune out the road noise, and you've got an absolutely beautiful walk through the woods back here. Now this trail will actually merge up, like I said, it'll end up in some kind of some old Melaleuca fields. It'll wind through that. It gets pretty open in there. I haven't explored much beyond this point. That will, however, connect up with the crew lands and the horseback trails that you know, that we've been on before. One of these days, maybe I'll adventure out and make the connection. But usually on this one, this is a great close to home trail for an afternoon walk. You know, a quick forage like this, and you know, you'll see birds in here. I saw a small alligator in the river. Can see deer in here. Some of these Smilex, the deer have beaten to them. They do love them, and but overall, it's just a beautiful little walk through here. Absolutely beautiful day. Ton of Smilex around me with harvesting. Always remember too, especially this time of year, it's cool at night, warm in the afternoons. Really keep one eye on the woods that you're foraging and the other eye on the ground. I haven't seen many today, but I have seen a snake. Luckily it was just a black racer, totally harmless. But you always want to be aware that they're here. And this is where this trail turns into that old Melaleuca field. You can see the Melaleucas. They're those kind of, actually that's cypress there, that's Melaleuca there. But you can see how this just opens up. So we're not going to go any farther into this today. We're actually going to go back. There's another trail that goes off of this, just right where we turned here. Last time I was on it, it just dead-ended. I want to see if anyone has been back in here and worked on it. Last time I was in here, they were working on this other section. I have no idea if they've done anything with it or what their intentions are. As you can see here, turns off to the left. But that's what we do, Dozer and I do, you know, we follow these trails, and you know, we just say, I wonder where that goes. Stick with it till we figure it out. There's an active volunteer crew back in here that are pulling these trails together, and so you just never know. So just up ahead last time is where this just dead ended. Wow, look at this, guys. That is a Greenbrier. Look how big those things are. And look at the ends of them, the tips. Those are just monstrous. And yes, those are edible. We'll get those on the way out. We'll do our part to help keep the trail clean. Hey bud, does the road end? It does seem like this road is about to end. Just getting a little more scraggly. What's up, bud? Oh, yeah, you found the end of it. Good job. Good job, bud. Good job. All right, guys, this is the end of this particular part of the road. So we're going to do some harvesting. You can see there's more Greenbrier in here as well. So we're going to harvest this up, harvest our way back out, and I'll pick you up back on the main trail. Dozer, you got all the stuff muddy. You got all the stuff muddy. Yeah, you got it muddy. I don't really think that was necessary. So again, guys, there we go, come on. Lemon Bocaba. So again, I dry that, and that gets added to my Biden's Alba for tea. Love the smell. You can't mistake it, that's for sure. Coming? Well, I'm definitely glad we decided to go that route. Got a lot of Smilex in there, and plus it's just a pretty little leg of the trail. So we're back on the main trail now, headed back to the truck. So usually what I do is I forage one side, and then on the way back I'll forage the other. And I've got a nice bag of Smilex. My goal here is to bring some home. I'm going to wash it up good. I'll cook some of it up right away, and some of it I'll just freeze, and then I can pull out and I can use it just as a green while I'm cooking. So I didn't get very much of the Lemon Bocaba. That spot didn't have a whole lot in it, and my partner here got the zoomies right in the harvest spot, so everything got a little muddy and messy, and so we harvested a little bit. That I'll keep fresh. I'm not going to dry it, so I'll wash it off really well, and then we'll use that fresh to add a little flavoring to tea. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and we're going to kind of make our way back to the truck, do a little harvesting on the way, do a big pickup at the end, and it'll be time to head home. Back to work tomorrow. Hey, Doze, got your stick? Oh, that's a nice one. Always got to have a good stick. Maybe if you keep it all the way to the water. Now I can't throw it for you because then you got to get in the truck. So I guess that's just a carrying stick. Oh well, got to have those too. Just remember, guys, always take time. Enjoy the butterflies. Alright guys, we are coming to the end of our trail here, back to the truck. Did a little picking up on the way. I wasn't going to, I was going to pick up when I got down here because, you know, you'll never run out of stuff to pick up in most of these areas, sadly. However, there was quite a bit back there, and so I just couldn't do it. I had to pick some up. But when we get up here a little ways, we're going to stop and do a little bit more. You can probably see the glistening in the sand up here. It's actually garbage all along here. Big gulps. Oops, sorry about that. Well, this is the end of our road. Old blue truck is over there. Got the welcoming committee down here. All the dive birds. Dozer's optimistic I'm going to let him swim. So this is a popular fishing area. I see a big gator. Yeah, it looks like a big gator laying down over there. If you can see him. Yeah, right there. Big long gator laying in that mud. When the water, when it starts to rain, this area here the water will really be running. Right now there's hardly any water. It's not running over this section, and so there's just really nothing in the river down there. But this is a popular little area to fish. There's gar in here, there's snook in here. I'm sure there's Mayans, sunnies, who knows what all's in here. But unfortunately, you can see when people fish in an area, they leave their signature. So I'm gonna turn this off for a second and get to picking that up. Gotta put away the forage goods. Get the cleaning bag. Come on now, start fighting with me. Tell you, it doesn't really take long. Well guys, this has been a great hike. Got plenty of greens. That'll make for a couple good meals. In just that little bit, I filled this garbage bag, and I could fill more. There's more garbage around. I mean, I could keep going. I could probably fill every bag I had, not just right here, but this spot I got really nicely done. So just remember, I mean, it's been a beautiful day. We enjoyed an absolutely beautiful hike along the river, birds, alligators, did some great harvesting, and but it's really important that we take care of these areas, you know, for ourselves. I mean, we want to enjoy them. I mean, I'm picking food out of here. I really don't want it to be a garbage pile. the water. And this river flows into an area where people catch crabs and they fish. And so we want to keep it as clean as possible, and for our kids and our grandkids. And I know the people listening to this already know that, but it's worth saying it anyway. So anyway, this is Richard and Dozer with the Hunter-Gatherer Society, and just wanted to thank you for coming along with us today, and we'll see you in the next adventure. Don't forget to get outside and do something wild.